那各位同学，大家早安！就是非常欢迎同学们在寒假时间愿意花这个时间来我们参加我们圣路易华盛顿的这个暑期研究课程的说明会。那这次说明会，我们很荣幸邀请到了 Assistant Dean for International Relations 的 Miss Teresa Sarai， 还有我们的 Professor Director 李智新老师一起来加入我们的会议，这样子。然后台大这边呢，我们也邀请到我们副国际长李俊浩老师，还有我们海外教育局的部长一起参与会。那首先呢，我们这个说明会的流程会是先请 Teresa 这边来帮我们做个简报。那结束之后，会由李智老师来负责我们的 Q&A 的部分。那同学在 Q&A 的时间内有任何的问题，都可以在 Q&A 的时间内提出。好
May I say a few words?
Okay.
Okay. So, good morning and good afternoon. I'm Jun-Shin Li from National Taiwan University, and I'm also the professor in the Graduate Institute of Electronics, Optoelectronics, and the Department of Electrical Engineering, NTU. So it's our privilege actually to have this chance for NTU undergraduate students, and we can have the summer research intern in Washington St. Louis. And I've been Washington St. Louis for several times, back to 2019 before the COVID, and that is a very, very beautiful campus. I would say that is a top 5 to me in the US, maybe in the world. And also, they have a very good reputation in research. So I think that would be the great chances for NTU undergraduate students, and you can have this chance to go to this beautiful campus and a great research environment for this study. So I think I will give my time to Teresa, and she's my good friend, and we have a lot of discussion about how to improve the international collaboration between Washington St. Louis and NTU. So I will pass my time to Teresa, and she will give us an introduction about the university and the program. Oh, Teresa.
Wonderful, thank you. First of all, 恭喜发财. Happy New Year to all of you. I hope you all had great celebrations. Welcome back to school and welcome to this session. I'm delighted to be here with my colleagues at NTU and with Professor Jr-Shin Li, professor in electrical and systems engineering at McKelvey School of Engineering. As Professor Li just told you, I'll be reviewing a little bit about Washington University, and then I'll give a small summary of McKelvey Engineering, the School of Engineering within our university. And then I'll discuss just a tiny bit. I'll show you a little bit about our graduate programs, just in case in the future you may be interested in graduate studies. And then I'll talk about this summer research program, which is the real goal of today's session. And I'll tell you a little bit about how to apply for the summer program, and I'll give a little bit of information about the summer program. And then if we have time, I can just review very briefly, or not even review, but just show you a couple of slides of the various areas of research that we do at McKelvey School of Engineering. So I'll just start now, and we can go to the first slide where I can just tell you about Washington University. We are a mid-sized, in the US, we're considered a mid-sized university. And by this, it means we have about 7,000 undergraduate students. That number may be a little bit more now, maybe close to 8,000 undergraduate students, and about 8,000 graduate students. So all told, somewhere between 15 and 16,000 students total. And that is divided between 2 campuses. The main campus, which you see here in this photograph, this is what we call the Danforth campus. And then we have a medical school campus just about 2 kilometers away. But our university, we're located in St. Louis, Missouri, which is considered in the middle part of the country. The Midwest is the region, and it's oftentimes not very well known to people abroad because you're probably much more familiar with a lot of universities on the coasts. But here in the Midwest, it's a wonderful teaching research university, and about 25 or 60 of our undergraduate and graduate programs rank in the top 25 ranking of the U.S. News and World Report, including in our biomedical engineering is ranked number 13. So next slide. McKelvey, so McKelvey Engineering, we're a non-traditional engineering school. We don't have certain, in other words, we don't have certain of the very historic and traditional departments. I guess you could say that we're a little bit more of a, for lack of a better word, we're a little bit more of a boutique university, or a boutique engineering school, because our engineering school is much smaller than you might expect from a traditional engineering school. And of course, we have great strength in medicine, environment, AI, machine learning, cyber physical systems, in imaging, and nanoscale technologies. We do much more research than that, but those are some of the areas of strength. And what makes us fairly non-traditional is the interdisciplinarity of our programs. So you wouldn't necessarily have somebody in just electrical and systems engineering. They may be able to do work with people in biomedical, imaging science, even in electrical and systems or energy environment engineering, and maybe measurement of aerosols, particles. So there's a lot of interdisciplinarity, and that's what makes us a little bit unique, is our ability to do the research across departments, across the university, and in a very collaborative way. So next slide. Just to give you a couple of facts about McKelvey Engineering, there you see on the, I guess it's your left-hand side, maybe you're seeing the same left-hand side, the number of students. We have about 1,400 undergraduate students, as you see, a little bit more than 900 master's degree and 500 doctoral students. And this is with a faculty of 165. So probably compared to NTU, although I don't know the exact numbers, we're probably pretty small compared to NTU. Is that right? Junha?
Yeah, I think we have the more people, yes. But
yeah,
I mean the Washington St. Louis is middle size. Yeah.
Yeah, middle sized.
Yeah, middle size.
And so our research, our research prowess, I guess, has been growing over time. And right now we have about, as you see here, 41.5 million in research awards. That was in 2021. So already this is a little outdated. My apologies, I didn't have the 2022 numbers, but that number has increased already by many millions.
So that would be a lot. Yeah. So
Yeah.
there is the funding. Yeah. So.
Yeah, so our funding is quite strong, and that is an 82% increase in research funding in the past 7 years. And this has been primarily attributed to the strategy and very hard work of our faculty and our dean, Dean Aaron Bobek. When he came on 7 years ago, he really helped strategize and have different plans where our faculty have just been doing great, and we've made a number of great new hires of faculty. So our research is doing quite well, and a third of our faculty have received the National Science Foundation Career Award, which is a very prestigious award for faculty, research faculty. Our rankings, as I mentioned much earlier, the BME department, biomedical engineering, we're ranked number 13. The school is ranked number 15 by niche group. I'm not sure exactly. And then as an institution for artificial intelligence, we're ranked number 9 in the computer science rankings. So next slide. This slide just gives you a range of all of the different PhD programs at our university. I won't, I think you can read them here. We may be able to share this with you. If you go onto our website, you'll be able to see these. But as you can see, some of these, the PhD programs, for example, we don't have a civil engineering department. We don't have an automotive or power department, but we do have research that kind of works in some of those areas. And again, it's very interdisciplinary. Next slide. These are the full-time master's degree programs. We do have some part-time master's degree, and we have a whole institute that focuses on professional development degrees and more application engineering degrees, but these are our full-time master's programs. So just to give you a sense of what we have available is for graduate studies if you were to become interested in pursuing a graduate degree in the future. Next slide. And then besides our graduate programs and undergraduate degree, we have these summer research opportunities. And I just wanted to highlight that we have, a number of research opportunities, but the one that I'll tell you about today is the international student research. And we have, so some of these areas of research that you see here, they might look very appealing to you. Now, for the most part, however, they're usually available only to US citizens or permanent residents. And the reason that those other research programs are limited is because they do draw on US government funding, like from our National Science Foundation or our National Institutes of Health. So we're not really permitted to have international students unless they are enrolled as a WashU student. If they're enrolled as a WashU student, then they may work on these programs. But otherwise, this is why we determined that we wanted to develop this international student research activity, because we know there are many very talented students that we would love to bring into our labs. And so this is funded separately. It's not funded by US government. And so it does give you, as an international student, an opportunity to come to our labs and do a research internship with us over the summer. So next slide. Just to give you briefly some of the requirements, we do have an online application that we would like you, those of you who end up being interested, to fill out. I say here that you must be a third-year undergraduate student. That is typically the category of student that we're looking for. There can be some exceptions. So I think I saw that or heard one of the students early on in the conversation say that he's a fourth-year student, and there may be others of you who are fourth year. We typically designed this for third-year students to come between the summer of their third and fourth year. But like I said, there can be some exceptions, but probably if you are not in your third year, you should contact Professor Jr-Shin Li and talk to him about it. And as you see, he's here on the call, and he can provide you with his contact information at the end as well. But so anyway, we have the online application. We'll ask you to upload your resume. Your resume, keep it within 1 or 2 pages maximum. you can upload your unofficial transcript. It doesn't have to be an official transcript at this stage, just what you have right now from your, what you can pull down online from your registrar. On the online application, we have a drop-down menu of various areas of research, and we'd like you to make sure you fill out those fields and choose your top 3 research areas of interest, because if you are selected for the program, then we would do some matching with you and with our faculty to find the best match possible. And so make sure you do fill out your top 3 areas of research. I think that field, when you go into the online application, it may not be a mandatory field, but it would be very helpful for us and ultimately better for you if you fill that in. And then we'd like you to also include a 1-page personal statement. This is just one typed page, just explaining why you would like to join the program, what your interests are, what you think you can bring to the program and bring to Washington University research community, sort of your typical things you would add in a personal statement. We would ask for 2 references, at least one of whom should be from a current faculty member at your current institution, whether it's NTU, NCCC, or NCTU. And then English proficiency test scores, if you have any English proficiency test scores from either Duolingo or TOEFL or IELTS. It'll be self-reported. You don't have to upload anything. For the summer months, we're not as strict, but it may require, if you don't have a test score, then maybe the faculty would probably just contact you to chat with you by interview in English to just to see generally your general English communication skills. So it's not mandatory that you have an English proficiency test, but if you have already taken one, please feel free to report that as well. And it might be kind of small here, but I think that maybe perhaps Jeffrey Huang can send out the link to the website and to the application portal when you're interested, and if you're interested in applying. Just note the deadline is February 15th. I know that's a very short time frame, but I think most of these items I hope you would have at your easy fingertips, or maybe it wouldn't be too difficult to put together. We will still review your applications even if we haven't received your professor recommendations yet. So the deadline is just for you to get your materials in and to identify the faculty member that should submit an application, but their recommendation letter does not have to be in by the 15th. We would give the faculty more time. But your application materials should be in, if at all possible, by the 15th. Okay, next slide. And just to give you a little bit of structure of the program, this is an area where we can be somewhat flexible, but there are some caveats to this. The preferred dates to begin would be around May 29th, that's a Monday, and then go through July 30th. This would be about, I think it's 9 weeks, 8 or 9 weeks of work here at Washington University campus. And I'll explain those dates to you in this next comment. We would provide you with free WashU campus housing during the dates of the program. Now, the reason we say the preferred dates are March 29th to July 30th is those are the only dates that are available in our WashU dormitories. And because after July 30th, the university is getting ready for our students to come for fall semester. Most of our students start coming in by about August 15th because our semester starts around August 20th. So that's why it's tied to those dates. I know at NTU and other universities, NCTU and CCC, you might not finish your semester before May 29th, but the earlier you can come after that date, the better. Because if we want you to have a full 8 weeks of research here, then if you come later, let's just give an example. If you come on June 15th, then it means you would only get the housing until July 30th. And that means that we would ideally probably want you to stay for an additional 2 weeks after that, so that each student would have, let's say, 8 weeks of research. And if you stayed beyond July 30th, then that time, that housing is not available. You would have to find different housing. You would have to find like an Airbnb or a hotel. And that can drive up the costs, and it's a cost that WashU would not bear those costs, because we have the dormitories for just that period of time. Anyway, so those are the dates of the program. We can talk about that, and perhaps later in the Q&A, Professor Jr-Shin Li can discuss this a little bit more with you. But those units are furnished. In addition, you would receive $5,000 US stipend, and that would be payable in 2 equal payments. It's aligned with our WashU payment system of all employees, and we get paid at the end of every month, the 30th of every month. So that's when your stipend payment would be payable. The program also includes professional, academic, and social activities. So we have many workshops. We have lunch and learn workshops where a faculty member will give talks. Those usually occur every week, lunch and learn. Then we have some preparation courses for the GRE. We have some preparation courses for applying to graduate school. If you are interested in applying to US graduate schools, we give courses on that. And then we have many very fun social activities. We take you to a baseball game, Cardinals baseball game. We take you to the St. Louis Arch. We do all kinds of really fun things over the summer. So it's a lot of work on the students' part, but we also try to sprinkle your experience with some wonderful cultural and fun social events so that you have a really fun and memorable summer. And those activities you would be doing, the social, professional, and academic development activities, you would be doing with all of those other research programs at McKelvey. So we usually end up having about 180 to 100 undergraduate researchers at McKelvey Engineering each summer. And so although this program is much smaller, you would be incorporated in a much larger community, and it gives you a wonderful network of friends and other students that you can meet and get to know. And these would be students from all over the United States, all different disciplines and backgrounds within engineering. So it's really a very nice activity and a nice summer to get to know people from a lot of different backgrounds. And then we provide you with local transportation card. Your responsibility, if you're selected, your responsibility is you would purchase your own international round trip airfare to and from St. Louis. Your visa fees, so you would be, we would work with you and our Office of International Students and Scholars to obtain your J1 visa, student visa. And so the J1 visa fees you would have to pay on your side, and I think it might be close to about $300 nowadays for a J1 visa. You would also pay your medical insurance for the 2 months that you're here, and we would give you a couple of recommendations of international healthcare companies that provide insurance for visiting students, and then you would cover your personal incidentals and meals, and so the 5,000 US would offset most of those costs and more. I'm sure you would have more left over for whatever for savings or travel or what have you. So next slide.
Yeah, by the way, I remember last time we discussed maybe in this program you can help us to purchase a meal plan in Washington St. Louis. Is that true? So
yes, we can do that. So it's a little tricky. The meal plans during the summer are fairly limited because there aren't as many students on campus. And so we only have certain cafes and restaurants that are open. It's not the full range that we would normally have during the school year. But yes, we can help with that. And let's see. Oh, so I know I went very quickly, so I don't know if it would be helpful, Jr-Shin, to take questions first, or should I just show these research slides very quickly?
I think we can. So for these research slides, probably we can. Do we need to show this, or?
We don't actually need to. I just have a few slides for all of those of you who are listening. I have a few slides of the type of research that we carry out under each of our departments. We have 5 primary departments at McKelvey Engineering. We have biomedical, electrical, and systems engineering. That's number 2. We have mechanical engineering and material science is 3. We have energy, environmental, and chemical engineering. That's 4. And then we have computer science and engineering. That's 5. But then we also have some interdisciplinary programs, and that would include imaging science, I guess, and data science. So I just had some slides here that show the type of research. We don't need to do this because all of this information, and yes, thank you, Jeffrey, for just scrolling through quickly. It just gives you a bird's eye view of the type of research we do here. And of course, you can always just refer to our website, and that's engineering.WUSTL, WUSTL.edu is the website. And you can take a closer look at our research and also a longer look. I know this is all very short right now. And then, yeah, and so my contact is given here as well if you wanted to reach out and ask a particular question of me. And then also, I believe you'll have the contacts for my my colleague, Dr. Jr-Shin Li, and then my colleagues at NTU in the international office. So.
Thank you, Teresa. And actually, we have, if you open the chat box, and actually there are some questions already. Yeah, so maybe we can read it, or I can read it. So one question is about the score, about the English proficiency. So, any idea about the score is required for this?
Yeah, so the summer program, it's a little bit of a gray area. So if you were to be an enrolled student at WashU, you would need to have a minimum of 90 TOEFL, and maybe that's, I think, an equivalent of 6.5 or 7 IELTS. But for the summer program, we're a little bit more lenient. And like I said, we don't require the English language score, but we do want to, we would probably, either I or the faculty member would have a chat with those students that reach the top level of selection, and just to make sure that they, their conversational skills are good, that they have good conversational skills and whatnot. So it's not a requirement, but that's our stated desire.
Okay, so maybe it's another way is to have the interview, online interview. That's also.
Yes, we can have an online interview, and we just have to submit something to the office of our International Scholars Office for the visa processing to say that the student has good English skills.
Okay, another question is actually about the stipend, and we saw there's 5,000 stipend, and we catch our eyes. That's pretty generous, and we appreciate that. And so the question is, will all the admitted students get a stipend, and is that 5,000 US dollars?
Yes, so yes, the admitted students will get a stipend. However, this is highly selective. So our intention is we would just admit a small number of students. Jr-Shin, do we? Well, yeah. So
I'll talk to Gina about that. Yeah. So this would be competitive because the applications are open to almost every country, or many countries is overseas, right? So
yes,
you
that's
guys
right.
have to compete with, for example, students from Singapore, students from Europe, students from China, students from South Korea, right? So that's, yeah.
Right. So it is highly competitive, and the students that are selected will receive the stipend, correct?
Yeah, I think that's also an important message to the NTU undergraduate student. So we thank WashU St. Louis give us this opportunity. But remember that for the NTU undergraduate students, you have this chance, but you must show yourself is good enough compared with the student in the world. Okay.
Yeah, and then we actually promised that we will select a few very good NTU students to work either with me or with my other colleagues. So we will admit some of you guys, and then we will do this again next year. Right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can introduce Jr-Shin later, but maybe right now I can tell our student Jr-Shin is NTU alumni, and actually he's endowed professor in WashU St. Louis. So he did a very great job, and I think he is willing to accept some of our students. So we thank him very much about that. So it's a very precious opportunity for us, for our students. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. Another question, maybe, what are the key components of personal statement? So, I mean, from student, maybe it's a big question. So, yeah. Teresa or Jr-Shin want to say something about that?
Yeah, so I mean, I think for the personal statement, the most important thing is to discuss, let us know what your current research interests are and what maybe you have already been doing in a research area, if you have any publications, or if you have been working in one of your faculty labs. Tell us what you've been doing and why that interests you and what it is that you want to do in the future with researching. I mean, this isn't a PhD application or a graduate student application, but at the same time, we want to know why this program is of interest to you, what you have been doing in research in the area you're stating your interests, why that's of interest to you, and what you think you can bring to WashU. You know, what can you add? We know that we'll be teaching you, but what can you also add to the experience for us as well? And what can you bring to your faculty lab? Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I think the purpose is for, as Teresa said, right? So this is not a PhD application. So we would not assume that you have already done a lot of research. I mean, even you do not have, or you have little research experience, that's totally fine. But I think the statement, in your statement, you have to tell us what your interests are, right? So you can list a couple, but you might not want to say that you are so interested in running mice experiments and you also wanted to do math, right? So I mean, that would be too broad. I think it's better to be focused. So you can tell us in your statement about what you really wanted to do if you join us, right? So for example, you wanted to focus on doing machine learning, you wanted to focus on doing biomedical engineering. And if you can tell us more details, that would be even more helpful, but that's not necessary. It's helpful because we might be able to give your applications to certain faculty members who might be working in the area so that they can evaluate and they can think about whether they can accept you to work in his or her labs, right? So I think that's the purpose. So you just need to tell us what you really wanted to do, what's your interest, and what's your skill. That's important, right?
Okay, I think we almost answered all the questions from the chat box. And, okay, so it's Yukai. Yukai wants to ask.
Okay, so may I just open my microphone and tell you about? Okay, thank you. So, I just worked on the application a few days ago, and I didn't see any section for me to upload my Duolingo scores. Is that normal? Is that normal?
Yeah. So we thank you for your question. We don't require it, but there should be a section. There's a field where you can just self-report it, right? Is there a field? There should be a field where you can put your TOEFL or IELTS score, or maybe Duolingo. You can just add that in, but you need not upload it for this particular, for the summer.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, it's really just a self-reported. If you've taken the test, then let us know what those scores are.
Okay, so in my situations, I just signed up for the TOEFL test and just on the 25th March, but so I couldn't get my score before the deadline. Is that okay to don't submit anything?
Yeah, that's totally okay. That's totally okay.
Yeah, that's right. So if you have some records, then of course you would like to tell us, meaning the school and the faculty members, whether you have got sufficient English skills, communication skills that can be reflected in your English test, right? So if you do not have anything, that's totally fine, as we said, right? So if your application sent out and a faculty member is interested in your application, or he or she might be contacting you just to have a brief chat online to make sure that you guys can communicate without any problems, right? So that's totally fine.
Oh, I see. So I can just wait for the, I don't know, the chat, the interview from the faculty in WashU, right?
So if you do not have any English test records, and then in order to make sure that you can communicate in English, I think faculty members who are interested in your application would contact you, I think. And also we also need to report to the OISS, right? So the Office of International Students for processing your J1 visa. I think that's a requirement.
Oh, I see. Thank you so much. Oh, I got another question about, I saw information on the website of NTU. It says I have to submit all of my application to Huang Ziyang 专员. But the document should include two letters from recommenders, but I thought it was a little bit inappropriate to ask my professor about the content of the letter. So is that any other solutions?
I see. So Teresa, do we ask later writers to upload their lectures from their end, or we ask students to collect lectures? And I wish we would not ask students to collect lectures, right?
No, that's right. So in the application, you will be asked to put your recommender names. So you'll put your faculty name, and then it will ask for their email address. And then the application system automatically sends a notice to that professor to saying that you are applying. It gives the student's name, you're applying for this program, and can they submit? And we give a form to the recommender for them to fill out, and then they upload a narrative letter for the student as well. So all you have to do as the student is just put your faculty name and their email address.
Oh, I see. So
in the application, there should be you'll see that as you go through the online application, you'll see that. So that's for the WashU side. Now for NTU side, I don't know what you're anticipating getting a letter for NTU.
I saw the same section in the WashU application site as well, but I'm not sure about should I ask for the letter and send an email them to faculty in NTU?
好，那玉凯同学这边跟你解释一下，就是你已经完成WashU的 online application 之后，也是把你的申请件提交给我们嘛，台大国际处这边，那国际处这边收到了之后，会再跟同学回复这样子。那如果同学像提到的那个推荐信的部分的话，只要提供你是由哪位师长来做推荐的，不用档案里面不用有推荐信是没有。
哦，所以我就放
它的申请件还是一定的角色是或是针对推荐信的部分，就只要去做是让几位老师帮你做推荐这样子。
然后就可能就附老师的名字跟 email， 这样就 OK 了吧？
资讯这样子，对。
Yeah, I think the recommendation letter is confidential to the students, so you just provide us the content information about the professor in NTU. It should be in
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, any other question from the online participant? And also, Zhi-Xin can speak fluent Mandarin, so you can.
Yeah, so if you guys have any other questions for Teresa, so you should ask her right now, because we don't want to hold her up for too late. I can stay here for some more time for you guys to ask me questions. Yeah. There's also a professor from NCGU, Professor Yang, is asking whether you can share the presentation file.
Yes, I'd be happy to. If you can, so Jeffrey, would you be able to share that, or do you have the contact of the
We have the
contact?
contact for all the participants today, so we will send the presentation file to everyone after the session.
Okay, yes, that's fine with me. There's nothing there. It's shareable. Yes, if you wouldn't mind doing that, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Teresa. Yeah, so those are very nice slides. Yeah, I'm gonna steal some of your slides in my presentation.
Of course. Of course.
Any more questions? 还有没有问题？同学可以提问哦。
Oh, you can. Yeah, go ahead.
And hi, it's me again. And just for a little questions. The last semester, I joined the program and we wrote a paper and submitted to a conference. And I think the project is really really great, but I just get rejected by the conference. So may I also mention about it in the application in the Academy's history of the in the WUSTL site?
I think the best way for you to promote your work is actually in your application. Probably you can put a link to your paper. You can put your paper somewhere, right? For example, you can put your paper on arXiv or in any website, and then you show the link, and when professors are reviewing your application, they can actually click the link and then look at your paper. And of course, you don't need to say that that's being rejected or that's being under review. So that's your work, and then you put it there. I think that's totally fine.
Oh, so I can just put a link on the application site.
Yeah, so for example, if I'm reviewing an application, I would just open up my PDF file and then I will read through the application. And then if I saw a link, I will click it, right? And then I will see the paper.
Yeah, so the best place for you to insert that link would be maybe in the personal statement, because this is where you would be explaining, what your interests are and what you've done so far. And then you can talk about this particular paper you submitted. So then just put the link there. You could probably also potentially put the link when you're in your CV, in your resume. If you show, conference papers or submitted papers or something. I'm not sure what your category would be, but maybe you could put the link there. But I think those would be the only two places, because there isn't an open spot for you to do that, I don't think, on the application. So you'd have to embed it in your personal statement somewhere.
Oh, I got it. This helps me a lot. Thank you.
So Yuka, where which department are you in right now?
My major is computer science and information technology.
Oh, okay. CSIE. Okay, so you can contact professors in your department, or you can contact me as well, and we can help you to put in the archive. That is public space in the internet, so you can publish your results without peer review. So that's okay. Okay.
How can I just contact you? May I have your name?
I think you can send professionally an email.
Okay, no problem. We can discuss this later.
And Teresa, so actually there's a student asking, he or she still cannot find the place test score for uploading test score, and some other students have found it, and this particular student cannot see that. Do you remember where it is, or or Jiang, do you know? Are you familiar with the application?
I mean, I think that it's so. We don't necessarily require you to upload your test scores. So you don't upload your test scores. It's merely giving you a field to report your scores. So this is based on the honor system, right? If you took a GRE test or a TOEFL test or an IELTS, and you want to tell us what that score is, then you will find a section in the application for that. But there isn't anything that will require you to upload those test scores. So this is on the honor system. You see, it's just self-reported. You don't upload anything, but there's a section where you just type in your test score if you took the test.
Okay, I think Yuxiang has some question. Go ahead, Yuxiang.
Yeah, my name is Yuxiang Li, and I have a question that what would you value most in our application? Is it our research experiences or other experiences or the GPA? And what should I emphasize in my personal statement? Is that I should emphasize that I have a strong research ability or that I have what kind of characteristics? Yeah, thank you.
Jr-Shin, since you're a faculty member and you look for these things, I'll let you answer.
Okay, so I'll just tell you my personal assessment, right? So I think definitely if you have good GPA, you should report that, right? And then that's a very good indication about whether you are a serious student or not. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean everything, right? So you can report your GPA, and then you can strongly promote yourself honestly by saying that you have extensive research experience if you have, and then you can say what you have done and then what you plan to do and what are you good at and then what kind of skills you have, and just say something very concrete. You don't necessarily need to say things that are vague. So you should say something very concrete, right? So concrete about what you have done, right? So I think that's important. And then we are, again, so this is not for a PhD application. So we are trying to evaluate your potential. So I can tell you guys later. So I admitted one student to our PhD program. So he initially went to this summer program a few years ago before COVID. So now he's working in my lab. That's what I can tell you guys about his case. But anyway, you just need to tell us who you are and what you can do and what you are interested in doing, and why you are capable of doing this, and then why you feel like you are very, very suitable for coming to this summer internship program. Right? So that's the key.
Okay, thank you.
I remember Yuxiang is also very good in music, right? Guitar or dancing or singing, I forgot. Yeah.
Oh, I'm the club leader of a singing club, but that's
Okay.
Okay, so if you can sing well, if you pass, I will try to admit you now.
okay. I will send you the link of my music.
So something like this is actually quite important, right, Teresa? So we like to see students who are not just, you can imagine that. So for example, if WUSTL is a top 10 ranked undergraduate program in the United States, students are, we got many students who have perfect GPAs, right?
Oh.
And how can you stand out? How can you make yourself special? I think, yeah, so this is important. So yeah.
Okay, I will remember to mention that in my application. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I think Professor Yang from Jiao University. Yeah, please, Professor Yang.
Okay. Thank you. This is Josh from National Yangming Jiao University. I would like to use this opportunity to give thanks to Zixin Lao Shi, and also Teresa, and also especially thanks to the National Taiwan University for this opportunity for let our students can join this online seminar. I do have one question for Teresa.
Yes.
You just mentioned this opportunity actually for junior level to senior level student, right? However, if that's possible for senior level student, like they're going to graduate soon, but they do have a break before they go into the graduate school, right? And you mentioned that in your presentation, but you didn't speak a lot of detail. Can you provide more detail regarding for those students if they are really interested? And is that possible for them to apply that as well? Thank you so much.
Well, I'll ask for a little bit of help from Jr-Shin here, but typically, if a student has already been admitted to a graduate program somewhere else, then it probably doesn't make sense for them to come to WashU before they begin their graduate studies elsewhere. It's only potentially a fourth-year student if they aren't sure yet whether they're going to be applying to graduate school, and that this research experience could give them an idea of what a research career could look like, and then maybe they would apply to graduate school later, or I don't know. Jr-Shin, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think you gave a very good answer. So I think, yeah, so if because there are students in Taiwan, so for example, for male students, they might need to wait for their military service. So there is actually a gap for some months or for a year even. Yeah, and then there are many students who are unsure about whether they wanted to go abroad to get their graduate degrees. So for those particular cases, I think we can accept applications. But anyway, so this program is designed for rising senior, right? So for junior students entering the fourth year, and then because if they join the summer program and they really like it, and they like WashU, they like our environment, our city, and then like everything, and then they enjoy working at WashU, and then they can go ahead to apply immediately graduate schools, right, for graduate programs, and then there's a fast track that we can admit those students immediately if faculty members identify strong students that they really want them to work in their lab. And again, so I can give you an example of my personal student. So I admitted him immediately to my PhD program. So he's in his third year already. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so there are two more questions. So you can actually, if you can see from chat box, the first one.
Yes, some of them I've seen. I think the latest one I saw.
Yeah, asking whether the program still be available for next year. I mean, we plan to do it. Yeah, unless there's something special. For example, COVID, right?
Right. Our intention is to do this every summer. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, then the next one, will the program still available next year?
Yeah. So Teresa, so one student is asking about the period of the visit, right? So,
Oh, yes.
So Junho, can I ask you? So when will the semester begin?
It's about June, about 10, around the 10. I remember the week of 10.
Okay, so yeah, so students could try to be there before 10th or at the latest a few days after the 10th, right? And as we said, right, so because the dorm is available only by the end of July. And Teresa, so we will be running this final like the how to say that is a concluding so an event for students to present their research projects, right? So we would run this, and that would be in the last week of July, or
yes, typically we call it the poster palooza. And it's usually run the probably not the very last week, but the week right before the last week. And this is where we have a poster session of all of the research from all of the programs, not just the international student program, but all those other summer programs I showed you. And that's where it's about 80 or 100 students will, you know, it's a great activity where faculty come and you can talk about your research, and then we also give prizes for the top poster awards of that day. And so that event takes place, I guess, in this case, it would be probably around, I'm trying to see the calendar. It would probably be around the 25th or something of July, or maybe the week before. Sorry, my calendar isn't open here.
Yeah, I think it's about the time. So Teresa, as we discussed, right? So I think our suggestion is that if you really cannot be there earlier, right? So you have to wait until the semester is done, and then you can travel. And if you are admitted, so we suggest that you will start working with the professor recruiting you before you join the program, right? So that you can start doing some literature review, you can start doing something preliminary, so that when you arrive, you are already in the mode that you can start working. Because we have this poster event, so that means that if you join in mid-June, and then you do need to have results generated, hopefully by in 5 to 6 weeks, right? So that would be a little bit rushed. So we would suggest that if you cannot be there earlier, I think that's fine. And then, but you should try to take some actions, right? Trying to start working with the professor so that you would not get delayed compared to other students, right?
Yeah. So sorry that right now the semester, the ending day is not perfectly matched, but we try our best already. Okay. So I think that Sheldon has a question. Go ahead, Sheldon.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
I would like to know if there's a chance with things other than a perfect GPA, or if GPA is considered a basic or necessary requirement. Like if we don't have a really perfect GPA, or is this program for perfect GPA is a necessary?
So at a minimum, your GPA, the minimum requirement, and I didn't note that down, but it should be at least a 3.0 on a 4.0 scale. If it's less than 3.0, then probably, unless there are extenuating circumstances in your situation, then usually you would not be eligible. It doesn't have to be a perfect GPA, but it has to be at least at the 3.0 level. Does NTU, NCTU, and CCC operate under a 4.0 scale or a 10 scale?
Yeah, our GPA, the full scale is 4.3. Yeah.
So when I was a student, it was 4.0, but I guess now they wanted to distinguish A plus, right? With A, so A plus would be 4.3 probably, yeah.
Okay.
So you don't need to have a perfect GPA, of course. That's not the only major that usually a professor would be looking for. So yeah, so they will look for your talent, your potential, your motivation, and many other things, right? So yeah, a GPA is already determined; it's fixed, so that cannot be changed, right? So you should work on something else.
Yeah, thank you, Jishin, for your explanation and encouragement. So I think that's very positive. Yeah. Okay, so Yomi, any question from Yomi?
Thank you. So I'm Yoming from the medical department, and I have a problem regarding the recommendation letters to NTU. So should we send a copy of the recommendation to NTU, or we just send the contact info? And just to make sure. But
Sorry, Yuming, would you mind repeating your question again?
oh, I mean that we also have to send a copy of the 2 recommendations to the NTU, right? And so I'm not sure, like, so because the professor said that we shouldn't see our recommendation letters. So I mean, what should we do? Or should we ask our recommenders to send the recommendation letters to NTU by themselves? Or, like, I'm not sure how should that operate.
As what we just have explained before, all you need to do is let us know, let NTU OIA know your professor's contact information, including his full name and also his email. That's all we need. But on WashU side, you need to complete the online application, and then the system will send an email to your professor to ask him or her to fill out the application, the recommendation form.
Yeah. Okay. I understand. So on the NTU side, we only need to provide the contact info for our recommenders.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. By the way, Yoming, because you are from the medical department, so 医学系, right?
Yeah.
So that is so that's an example because in NTU, our medical department, that is a 6-year program. So Yoming, you are junior to senior, 大3到大4, or?
Yeah, true.
Okay, so is that fitting into this program? Because he is now from the 3rd year to 4th year, and the total is 6 years.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because I have already I communicated with Yoming by email. Yeah, so I think he could definitely apply. And then they are professors in our in McKelvey in the engineering school, working on many things related to medicine, especially brain medicine and computational neuroscience. And then anyway, so he could apply.
Yeah, by the way, because I visited Washington St. Louis for several times, and their medical school is super good, top 5 in the United States. So that's
the medical school is really very good. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? You can use English or Mandarin, both, and also you can provide you some inside story from the NTU, graduate from NTU, then go to the United States and faculty in Washington St. Louis.
Yeah, so I think we can try to see whether are there any more questions for Teresa. So because I don't want to hold her up for too long.
I don't mind, but if you wanted to continue in Mandarin, that's okay.
Oh no. I mean that's not the reason. The reason is so because it's late. But it's very good to have you here. Yeah, because you answer many questions that I might not be able to do.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So any last questions? Otherwise, I'll say good night to you and good day, good night to me, good day to you. But thank you for this opportunity. We're very excited to have this collaboration with NTU, NCTU, NCCU. Pardon me. And we're very delighted to meet all of you virtually, and we look forward to receiving some of your applications in the coming days. So let me know, let Professor Jr-Shin know, and Professor Junha's office know if you have any other questions. So I will sign off now, but you can continue discussing.
Okay, thank you, Teresa. So anyway, I will follow
up. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
OK， 好，同学们，还有老师们，还有没有什么想要问志新学长？
对，所以你们有什么问题可以问我，因为反正因为刚刚那 Teresa 已经讲得非常非常的详细，然后一些关于申请的 detail 他都说了，所以你们如果还有特别的问题的话，现在可以问我。如果刚刚没有问到的问题，现在可以问。
我想这个就是 Washington St. Louis， 它就是工学院，刚刚有讲，就是7年前它有一个新的工学院的院长上任，那花了很多的力气就是把整个工学院它资源把它做有效的利用，所以譬如说看到争取了多了82% 的研究资源，那这个研究的funding也增加了很多那另外它也有很多很好的 program， 那吸引就是全世界的人才，那就谢谢我们有这个内应有智新教授在那边帮我们争取到很多就台湾的学生啊，不管是台大、阳明交大这个 NCCU 就是
政大
都有争取到这个很好的一个 package，那真的是谢谢他。那那另外就是我等一下再讲我到 Washington 的感受了展言有暂停，对不起，暂停可以。
喂，这样听得到吗？
听得到 ，OK。
那我想请问一下，就是关于大四即将毕业的学生，就是因为我知道这个计划应该是3升4的，就是目标3升4的学生。那如果是大四要毕业，但是还没有申请到，就还没有申请 Master 的话，这样是一样直接申请，还是一样直接申请这个计划，还是要先跟老师外讨论？
对，我觉得其实你如果是就是大四毕业，因为通常大四毕业在美国的设定就是你如果大四毕业的时候，就代表你已经找到工作了，或者是你已经申请了研究所了嘛，对不对？然后所以这个 program 才会设定到大3升大4。然后其实你如果大四毕业的话，其实也没关系。可是刚刚像 Teresa 讲的，就是说，因为这个 program 其实最原始的设计就是希望你们去做 research 之后，我们可以把我们很喜欢的学生，就是你们如果被 admit 的话，因为不止台湾学生嘛，还有真的很多世界各国的学生，然后就是我们会看到你们在那边。然后其实如果 professor 很喜欢你们的话，直接就可以把你们留下来念 PhD， 所以就代表你这个暑假回来台湾之后，你念完最后1年，你就跟大家一样，就是你就已经直接到 WashU 去念 PhD。这其实最原始的用意是要做这件事情。然后你如果已经大四毕业的话，就像 Teresa 刚刚讲，他就是希望说你们并不是已经申请到别的研究所，然后或者是你们已经申请了别的研究所，然后你们只是还没有拿到 admission， 或者说你们还没有去，因为现在 admission 或许还没有出来，然后可是很快的，你们如果已经有申请的话，你们很快的可能会拿到 admission。那在这个条件之下，就比较不希望你们申请，因为这个 program 就是用意是开放给未来我们可以想要让他们留下来念 PhD， 或者是至少你们去了之后，你们觉得原来对我们学校并不是非常非常的熟悉，然后可是去了之后发现其实你们很喜欢那边，或是你们也做得很好，或者是可以被留下来，其实就是这样子。反正终究就是希望你们去了之后可以变成我们的 potential 的 graduate students，这是用意。然后你如果就是符合刚刚我讲，就是你其实只是还在摸索你现在接下来你要做什么，那你也在思考你要不要念 PhD， 然后或是念 Master， 所以那你就可以申请无所谓。然后如果有 Professor， 其实主要 admission 当然就是最基本，就像刚刚 Teresa 讲的，就 GPA 不要低于 3.0， 因为这是一个很简单的要求嘛，对不对？就是所以就是通常 admission 会根据你有没有被某些 professor 选上，那它的过程有可能跟普通的 admission 是一样的，它可能会有一个 committee， 然后他会先筛选，会先看一下你们的statement of purpose， 然后假设他们如果发现这个学生有强烈的表达说他想要跟我工作，那他那些秘书或是那些 admission 的 committee 的人，可能就会把你的 application forward 给我，然后让我去看说我会不会对你很有兴趣，然后是不是你适合在我的 lab 工作， 然后通常会透过这样子的方式会比较多一点。所以如果你们尽量可以很确定的知道说，其实你们不一定要知道说你们想要跟哪一个 professor 工作，想要跟哪一个 professor 工作，因为或许你就像我自己个人，就是因为我真的很忙，所以我的 website 已经很多年都没有 update。所以你如果看到我的 website， 你可能可以看到我基本上一般做的 research， 可是我现在最新的那些 project 或许你没有看到。然后每个 professor 都有可能是这样子的状况，就是说他不一定有很多时间无时无刻在 update 他的 research 的 website。所以你如果说，那你当然如果看到一个 professor 他做的东西真的太像你喜欢的东西，那你当然可以提到那个 professor， 你想要去他的 lab， 然后可是我觉得比较好的可能就是除了这个之外，你可能可以很明白的说，比如说你想要做 AI， 你就说你真的对 AI 非常有兴趣，对不对？因为做 AI 是一个非常非常广泛的 topic， 对不对？那 AI 可能可以应用在公共卫生，可以应用在机器人，可以应用在很多很多的东西。那你也可以说你想要做比如说普通的 biomedical engineering， 那 biomedical engineering 它有很多，它有 tissue engineering， 它有 neural engineering， 它很多。所以你如果可以很明白的告诉我们说你其实对哪些东西特别有兴趣，那这样子会比较容易会让你的 application 被相关的教授看到。那你如果讲的没有很清楚的话，就会变成其实不大知道说要叫哪一个 professor 来看看你的 application， 看看他们是不是对你非常有兴趣。所以我的建议会是这样子。那我自己的那个学生，其实是我就是 COVID 之前，就2019，我回台大访问，然后我一个大学同学，他现在是台大的教授，然后他就跟我说，他这个学生非常非常的聪明，他以前是建中数字班的，可是呢，因为大学他爱玩，成绩没有非常的好，就像刚刚那个谁问的，就是志远还是谁问的，就是说他的成绩没有非常好，然后可是问题是我回来之后，我就跟他见了几次面，然后我发现他特别聪明，然后反正我就让他去做这个 summer intern， 然后我发现他的确很不错，所以我就马上把他留下念 PhD， 所以这就是他个人的 case。然后那其他的当然就是别的老师可能有他们自己选择学生的方式，不一定都跟我一样。然后我当然特别希望我们台湾学生可以多一点人可以去我们那边嘛，因为对啊，因为这是对我来讲是最好的嘛，对不对？如果你们可以很多人都去的话，那当然很好，因为其实我们并没有很强制的规定说，就是说一定有几个人只能从台湾来，一定有几个人只能从新加坡来。因为我记得第一年我们办的时候，你也可以想象从中国来的学生非常非常的多，新加坡很意外，新加坡也蛮多的。我记得，然后台湾学生就只有我那个学生，然后因为我们之前刚开始做，并没有做很多 promotion 跟 marketing， 然后所以我们并没有去特别强调说每个地方每个国家只能来几个学生，并没有这样。可是当然就是可能不会一个国家一个地方的学生录取的特别多，然后其他地方来的特别少，所以就是反正会有一个 balance， 可是主要还是看我们申请的人到底 quality 有多好，然后喜欢我们台湾学生的老师是不是有蛮多个的。那其实你们如果仔细去看我们学校的 website， 其实我们 engineering school 其实蛮小的，它只有君浩学长他其实比你们电机系还小，我们只有100几个 faculty， 电机系的系
我们就电资啦，电机资讯学院加起来大概200个。对
啊，所以你们就
工学院更大，我们工学院更大。
对，我知道，所以我们的 size 其实很小，所以其实好处是，其实每个 professor 都做很多各式各样不同的 research， 然后就是不会说只有做一样的东西，他可能就是大部分就是有很多各式各样不同的东西在做，所以就是对啊，这是一个 strength， 然后你就是希望你们申请的时候也不用太担心说一定要什么，就是你们就只要很明白的告诉我们说，比如说像那些数字的东西就不能改变，比如说你托福考过了，你考了几分，那个其实也没有非常非常的重要，然后你的 GPA 多少，你是什么系的，最主要是你对做什么东西非常感兴趣，然后为什么你很想要去做这个 summer program。 因为你当然不要说你是为了那5000块嘛，对不对？你应该说那5000块当然是非常的好，对不对？然后就是对，就是要很明白的告诉我们你喜欢的是什么，这样子是最有用的，对。
OK， 所以只要有明确的 research interest 或者是就是强烈的动机，然后没有申请到，就是如果是即将毕业的大四，然后没有已经录取的 master score 的话，就是也是会被考虑的。
是，你还是可以申请，对。
好，谢谢。
就是即将毕业的大四这一件事情哈，就是可能行政程序还是要再看一下哈，因为你出去的时候，如果是刚刚讲5月29出去，那个时候你还是台大的学生，好，那因为这个是我的认知是学生才可以申请啊，好，所以它不是说你有了台大的学位，如果你不是学生的话，有学位应该是不能申请，但是你回来的时间如果是7月30嘛，是吧？
如果是照他的。
照这个是7月30，这个就要再看一下，因为台大现在的规定应该是，如果你应届毕业课都修完，应该是8月1号，主动就是你就毕业了，就不算台大的学生，所以有一点点行政程序要再确认一下。如果你是应届毕业的话，这样才能清楚吗？
那这样的情况下有办法说，因为就假设申请上这 program， 然后因此申请可能延毕1个学期这种状况吗？
这个我们再讨论好不好？因为你延毕的话，就等于你又要再付1个学期的学费。
OK，
对，那这个我们就要再考虑一下，我们就可能在 case by case 再考虑一下，再讨论一下了。我没有说你不能申请，我没有那个意思，我只是说，因为这个 program 是要给，就是 Washington St. Louis 开放给世界上很多大学的学生。那我刚刚只是讲说，因为在这个计划结束的时候，你并可能不具备学生的身份，所以我们需要稍微怎么样处理，把你的事情解决掉。OK， 我不会说你不能申请，那但是这件事情需要有一个 issue， 我们要把它解决。OK，
OK，
然后其实有另外一件事情很重要，就是说为什么刚刚 Teresa 说5月29到7月30，那他其实也讲得蛮清楚，就是说因为我们的大学生，美国的大学生通常是，尤其是私立学校学生，因为我以前念 Harvard， 其实也是一样的，就是说暑假一到，他们会把所有的大学生赶出宿舍，然后宿舍要空出来，让学校做很多很多的 summer program 或是英文课什么之类的。然后所以就会有一段时间，其实那一段时间在我们学校就是5月29到7月30，所有的大学生都要清空宿舍，所以宿舍会空出来，然后他们就用这一段时间admit 你们去那边做 research， 然后你们全部人都住在同一个宿舍，然后就很好，因为他就是希望你们跟世界各国学生都可以认识，然后可以一起做事情，一起交流，然后比较麻烦的是说，假设这个 program 就是 design 是。其实它的长度就是希望，当然就是大概8周左右。那你5月29，你如果可以早点到，因为你如果是 J1 visa， 其实你可以1个月前就到，你可以结束之后你可以再留1个月，就是 J1 visa 其实这样子。那你其实可以甚至更早到，可你如果更早到，你如果有地方可以住，你如果有朋友住在 St. Louis， 那你当然没有问题。可是就是反正时间你一定可以保证可以住在宿舍的时间就是这段时间。然后他就希望，因为我有跟他提过说，我们台大可能会比较晚结束，所以比如说你们6月中真的要6月中才能去，那你就是已经 delay 了2个礼拜。那这件事情其实也没有非常非常的严重，因为你的确没有办法太早去。可是他就是比如说有些 professor， 我记得上第一次有些 professor 就会希望这个学生做8个礼拜，因为你要做满8个礼拜你才可以领，因为他的 payment 是每个月底付你1次钱，比如说6月底你就会得到2500块，7月底你还会得到2500块，所以总共就5000块。那你如果6月中开始的话，因为你们都会被引入到我们的 HR， 然后就 payroll system， 所以他就会知道说你是6月15号才到，所以你第1个月的 payment 他可能就会只给你2个礼拜的钱。然后其实我记得第1届的时候有很多学生他就是做到8月中，所以8月中他可以再拿到另外一个 payment， 对不对？就是然后可是比较麻烦的是说7月30你就得搬出宿舍， 所以接下来那2个礼拜，因为之前有一些学生他们可能有认识人在那边，或者是怎么样，他们可以找到短期的宿舍，他们就在那边再留2个礼拜，跟那个 professor 做 research。可是这个东西可能是你到了那边之后，要跟你的那个 host 的 professor 去讨论说你要怎么样比较好。所以我刚刚才建议说，其实你如果真的已经确定你一定得6月中才能到，那因为7月底你就要 present 你的 result。所以最好的方式是你已经确定你要跟哪个 professor 工作，你就预先跟他有一些 meeting， 然后他可能可以 assign 你先念念 paper， 先在台湾做一点东西，那你一去就可以马上上手，这样子是比较好的。那你就也不用再额外的去找一些宿舍住，然后你可能要住 Airbnb， 你可能要住一些要付钱的东西嘛，所以那还是不方便，所以其实最好就是这样子。
因为上一次跟 Teresa meeting 的时候他有提到这件事，不过就当然就是因为台大的开学应该是在9月初啦，所以如果7月30到9月初，就是因为至少我们还是有那个，就同学们还是可以收到那个5000块的 stipend， 所以 Teresa 这边有提到说，他就是 Washington Louis 这边可以协助同学们找 Airbnb， 那也许2个礼拜或什么样之类的。
对，
那因为做研究还是要一段时间才看得到成果啦。
对
，6个礼拜真的是太短。对，
所以其实因为我们学校也蛮多台湾学生的，我们的台湾学生可能也是有3到500个人吧，我想。然后他们其实很多学生去那边之后，就自然而然就会认识台湾同学会的人嘛。那台湾同学会的人通常都会很愿意帮忙，所以如果你们去，他们有可能你跟他们比较熟或者什么样之类，其实非常有可能你可以说找个地方租，就是跟他们一起 share 一个 apartment 2个礼拜而已，或者是他们甚至愿意让你在那边住待2个礼拜，其实这都是有可能的事情。可是这个东西就会比较不确定嘛，对不对？就是你人要去了之后，看你可不可以找到还不错的，认识到还不错的台湾学长姐，对不对？然后他们也都会很愿意帮助，可是这些事情就是有一点点不确定性，所以就是如果不一定要这样子的话，就先把这个排除会比较好一点，对不对？
好，还有其他的问题吗？那我想就是时间，在华盛顿时间很晚了，然后我们申请的时间也是有点紧迫，所以就请同学们这个鼓励大家就赶快申请。那刚那个智新学长也有提到了，就是当然成绩这个或学校的成绩或者是语言的成绩，这个当然就是确定下来就是这样。那动机或者是你的一些其他的经历，这些也都很当做一个参考的指标。那另外就是这是一个难得的机会，那鼓励大家就是踊跃提出申请。那不过当然它也就是在我们放在一个世界的天平上，那让大家就能够有机会跟来自全世界的同学们先竞争以后在一起就是合作。那我想这个都是难得的机会了哈。那如果没有其他的问题，之前还有什么要讲的吗？
没有，就是对，反正你们如果真的有兴趣，就申请。即使你还不确定你未来是不是要念 PhD， 是不是要做什么，是不是要去美国，可是这个是一个很好的机会，这真的是一个超级好的机会。我如果以前当学生的话，有这个的话就好了，对不对？因为可以让你申请，然后申请也不用钱，然后你去还让你其实他不只是去做 research， 就像 Teresa 刚刚讲，其实他会安排很多活动，你们会有很多跟其他 international 的学生有很多互动，然后他们会带你们去参观。如果你喜欢棒球的话，你就会知道红雀队，所以他们会带你去看红雀队。然后反正这是一个真的很难得的机会，然后对啊，我是建议你们都可以申请看看。那当然会有一些选择嘛，对不对？就是如果真的没有被选上，也不用太沮丧嘛，对不对？因为反正这只是一个，对，就是一个特别的东西。然后你们如果还有特别问题的话，还是可以 email 我，或是 email 那个君浩学长的李教授的办公室，然后 Teresa 你们也可以寄 email 给他，因为他其实就是了解所有的 detail， 他甚至也有参与在 design 这个 program 的人，所以你们就反正有什么问题就问我们，你们也没有几天可以准备了嘛，对不对？就这样子。
好，那就这样了，谢谢大家，好，谢谢 ，OK，
谢谢，
加油。